Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Ink and Blade and our playthrough of the Pathfinder Adventure Path Hell's Rebels. It's going to be some more exciting opportunities for insurrection, I think, down the road here soon. But for now, we are still just getting to know our characters and they are getting to know each other. So, again, my name is Autumn, and I'll be your storyteller for this adventure. And I'd like to reintroduce our players and have them remind you the characters that they're playing before we dive back into things. I will say that normally we're going to attempt to have some in character recap moments at the beginning of every session because things are still getting underway, we're going to skip that for the week. So we'll just go ahead and have some introductions, and we will jump back into the fray as it's our first combat. Right? This looks like it's about to unfold.
All right, I'll be loud and obnoxious first because
Yes, finally, somebody.
open white man here. My name is Chris, and I will be playing Gorum Alamaksa, the Gnome Skald.
Hello, my name is Krista. I will be playing Lady Daphne Darlin Serini, the human boat.
I'm Emily, and I will be playing Ness Starguide, the 7 foot tall albino lizard folk war priest.
And I am Julia. I'll be playing Kamina Wyndham, a human investigator.
Well, now that we've got all caught up there, let's return to the scene at hand. Last week, our players and their characters became aware of a large protest gathering that was happening outside of the Opera House in the city of Kintargo to protest the rule of the new Lord Mayor, Barzillai Thrune. Barzillai had introduced a series of very unpopular proclamations that had gone from inconvenience to sort of outrageous demands very quickly, and is widely also suspected of being behind the fires during the Night of Ashes a week ago that consumed a number of very beloved local businesses, as well as one of the long-standing noble family manors. And many of the owners and some of the patrons of these establishments seem to be missing as well. So, with that tension having built, protests had been unfolding during the course of the week all over the city, but this was by far the largest yet, with people from all walks of life coming in, and with a larger presence of the Datari, the city guards, than were noted at the other locations.
What? Sorry, hang
It's,
on. It's being very weird.
oh, okay. You're gonna hold on.
The video froze again. I don't know why it keeps doing this.
Is it
But
me? I'm gone.
no. Um. Well, yeah, you're gone for. Give me a moment. Should be. There you go. You're back. Sorry, I don't know why it does this, but it's kind of a jerk about it. I'll have to troubleshoot that
Well,
this week.
yeah, we are likely to have technical issues as we go.
Everybody, it should be fixed.
Good on my end.
Cool.
Okay.
I think I just have to keep the Discord window open on my other monitor to keep it from being weird. I don't know, but
Well,
if somebody could just take a look at the stream just to make sure it's not freezing.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks
Okay,
good.
great.
okay.
Sorry about that.
No. It's fine. We'll be able to immerse ourselves into the scene again. No trouble. So one of the things that makes this particular protest different is the number of people who have gathered here from all stations, walks of life, business owners, nobility, politicians, members of the church, different churches, certainly many of the workers, and a few of the guilds represented in the city are here, and just a variety of colorful characters.
And colorless characters.
And colorless characters. This is true. Because, yes.
Albino.
Yeah. So, right now, one of the other things that makes it so different is the amount of guards, known as the Tari, that have been arrayed at this park outside of the Opera House. It's called Aria Park. And this could just be because of the size of the protest or because of the growing rumors of sedition and insurrection that follow any unpopular ruler, I imagine. But it may also just be because this happens to be where Barzillai Thrun has decided to set up his new home. Something of an insult upon injury, because the Opera House is not only a beloved icon of Kintargo, the city that we are in, but it has also been at the heart of the defense of Kintargo for many, many years in some curious ways. And it's a bit like having an occupier take over a war memorial. So there's a lot of agitation in this crowd, and it wasn't long before Barzillai himself took to one of the balconies above and issued another proclamation banning captains of ships from setting foot in the city. Make of that what you will. However, during his presentation, the crowd kind of began to break over a bit.
Oops.
And it wasn't long before things started being thrown at the new Lord Mayor, including some dung that happened to splatter across his breastplate. In, having gone from a sort of mocking, a sort of mocking joviality to an instant rage, he commanded the Tatari and their leader Nox to break the crowd up, to arrest them, to kill them if they can. And with that, the scene of protests has descended into one of riot and chaos as the Tatari begin to march forward and close in on the front circle of the crowd. And in the back, we can see that there are going to be quite a few other surprise combatants as a number of members of what is known as the Cheliax citizens' militia have thrown off their hoods, revealing armor and arms beneath them, and have basically positioned themselves around the back of the crowd in an attempt to keep them from leaving. Now, it'll be a moment before I would say initiative needs to be called. I do want to get a sense of the chaos of the moment and how your characters may be reacting.
Well, I was talking to Hedamon, right? Of the,
Yeah, Hedamon Hayes. Hedamon Hayes is the owner of the Devil's Thread, which some of the finer clothes and garments in town.
Yeah. As far as it seemed, the finest without being actually considered finery, as far as the proclamations are concerned. But Ness would have no clue about that. But she was about to follow. You know, I was about to follow him to his shop when all of this chaos broke out, and it's stranger as I am here, it's quite easy to tell the villains from the victims, as it were. So Ness is or take my hand off of Hedamon's shoulder and roll my shoulders back. Say, talk later. Save innocents now. And then, head off to fight the Cheliax Karen militia.
I think it's pronounced Charon.
Uh-huh.
Darlin is with her brother, Logan. And they were moving towards the back of the crowd where they met most of the party. And on their way out, realizing that they were kind of trapped at the reveal of these hidden soldiers, they kind of went back to back, and she said to him, I think it's about time for that distraction you were talking about. And she started conjuring up some magic in her hand. And in her mind is kind of this, whirlwind of curses and being like, I knew something bad was gonna happen, but I talked myself into coming anyways.
Like you do.
Like I do.
Like one does.
So she currently is very scared, and especially seeing somebody in her mind assault the Lord Mayor in front of the room. And so she's very scared that there's going to be some serious violent repercussions on this crowd, regardless of who they are. And she really doesn't want to have to throw her name out there. So her mind right now is like, I need to get me and my brother out of here and not get caught in this.
So Gorham, on the other hand, who's also hanging out in the same sort of back of the crowd area as Ness and Darlin, thought it was absolutely hilarious that the Lord Mayor got hit in the chest of tongue. Unlike his, for lack of a better word, manservant Chili, who more or less serves as Gorham's conscience, because while Gorham definitely believes in the ideals of equality and freedom for all, sometimes misses the common sense line about how to get at that when the big picture line makes more sense to him. And so Chile tends to point out some of these common sense things to Gorham. And so Gorham is definitely standing there with his hammer out, ready to fight off the militia, and just begging to himself that Chile doesn't say, I told you so.
Yeah,
Hey.
and like everybody else, I think I was near the back of the crowd with a companion that I met there. Um, and as soon as events started kicking up, um, I pulled out my blade and took up a defensive position in front of my friend.
Okay. So you can see that the crowd is in a bit of a panic. Some people are trying to flee. Some people are trying to continue to throw things now at the Datari, as the Lord Mayor has retreated back into the Opera House. A few are struggling in the crowd as they find themselves kind of bottled in by the militia members, and you can see that it's quickly escalating. They what had been people carrying a handful of improvised weapons or small personal arms that may offer some protection. You can see that they are pretty out-armed and armored. Not many people came here in breastplates or studded leather armor, as you can see that the Datari and the Sheliak's militia members are all brandishing. So it's not long before people begin to panic, and the crowd is kind of breaking a bit. But there are still a few people here trying to give a good fight, and it's quickly turning from an effort to try and arrest people to an effort to just outright slaughter them in the street. So, we will actually begin our roll for initiative. Though whether you reach combat right away or there's other actions you're taking, that'll just be up to you. But this will be a chance for us to try to kind of give an order to the events.
You want to swap
But yeah, we're about to, and I'm going to give you kind of a rough idea of. You'll be able to see the militia members and the Datari, as well as Nox, the Datari's leader. And from there, we will basically be able to, actually engage with them. I'm not going to put the rest of the crowd on here. This map will get much too complicated too quickly. But this is what you're seeing. I'm going to switch you all over now. And you can kind of see how things have circled in once I do. I'm going to take a look. I don't have Discord, or I don't have the stream up quite in front of me, so I want to see. It should load here if we've kind of cut off some of the map itself. Here
Let
comes.
me know if I have to zoom in or out. So
I think a little out.
okay.
A little out.
Is that good?
I tried to keep everything where the area I thought it would be, but I can move some stuff too. It's not very particular that they stay in this position.
Okay.
Do you have tokens for us, or should we just drag some art on there?
I do.
Here, I can get.
There are some tokens.
If you drag your character sheet onto the.
You're just a real lizard.
Yeah,
It's
great. It's
great.
the best royalty-free thing I could find. Okay.
We're gonna have some artwork for these characters here
So
very soon.
if you click,
I'm so sassy compared to everyone.
I don't know how
Oh my
else
God, I
to describe this
know.
drawing other than artwork. So
No, there's a
Oh.
great way to describe this drawing, and it should be described.
it's
so
artwork.
if
Oh, this
you
is bullshit. What is that? Wasn't drawn in MS Paint.
Absolutely not. I went on Pinterest.
if you click on your token and then go to your character sheet and roll initiative from your character sheet, it'll put you into the initiative order automatically. Nice little trick that I've.
Yeah, the tracker has to be.
Oh, the tracker has to be opened. Okay.
I like this initiative roll better than the last one, so this is great.
I don't think that's how that works.
No, it's the initiative tracker. You gotta open it.
Who is her and why are we tracking him?
Mom, you have to. Hello?
Okay. Hi.
Hi. You have to open the initiative
Hi.
tracker.
It's a stopwatch looking thing.
Yeah. It
There we go.
should. It's okay. Is it open?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now if you highlight your token and then it's just getting in there anyway. Okay.
Populating, pre-populating.
Sure.
There, yeah.
I'm looking for a good place to put it so we can see. This might work.
There we go.
16. Not bad.
Is the video still going good? Like the
Yeah.
webcam still moving and stuff? Okay, cool. Just making sure. Looks like we figured it out.
I'll be our live viewer.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're at the back of the crowd, right?
Yeah. You were mostly at the back of the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh no, so I'm right next to somebody. So I was just talking to Ness, and then I left.
Okay. Well, I don't think I'm gonna have a good spot to pop it in. You can see it, so I'm just gonna put it over here. Okay. All right. So, Kamina and Ness, you happen to respond to this pretty quickly. Kamina, you are there. You have you've been able to reconnect with your companion from school, shall we put it for now? And you had a few moments to try and process and swap information about what has happened since the Night of Ashes. But you can tell that he's pretty shaken up from that alone, and now seeing this happen, he's panicking a bit. And he starts going up. Yeah, they're gonna arrest us too. They're gonna make us disappear like they did the rest of them. We need to run for it.
I'm gonna look around and see if there are any easy routes out of here.
So there are ways to kind of either I would say that the easiest thing to do is to try to blend into the crowd that's running away, and try to, if you have to, put yourself between, or someone else between you and one of the guards or the militia. But as far as getting away, you could get out of the square. It's a question of where do you go after this? So if you wanted to just completely withdraw, that is definitely an option. But there's going to be a chance that you run into one of the guards on the way.
Yeah.
And then
My second question with that is, outside of my friend, is there anyone near us that seems to be getting in a scuffle, we'll say, with any of the guards, and looks like they would need help?
Absolutely. Most everybody in a scuffle with one of the guards is overpowered or overmatched. And the only thing that they have going for them for the moment is perhaps numbers. But you can easily see that, especially those who are trying to flee, the guards may be pushing forward without inflicting too much violence yet. They're a little better armored. But the Cheliax militia is not hesitating in the slightest to violently attack any of the who they see as insurrectionists fleeing. And you can see definitely that both of the guards kind of near you, or both of the militia members near you, the one just to the right of the fountain and the one to the right of them, are currently engaging with people who are trying to flee, and they are just hammering on them.
I have strong feelings about this. Most of them are expressed through sharp objects. Is there a way to get Kamina onto the initiative tracker?
Oh, let me
The
see.
DM can right click and add turn,
Yeah.
There we go.
and then manually change it.
Have we considered using our brains?
No.
Yeah, sometimes you can just write it down too.
You got me there.
And then where exactly did the guard, the Jatari, and the militia fall in this initiative order?
They're gonna be falling last. That's why I didn't roll for them.
Okay.
They're not actively engaged with any of you yet, and they are also a little bit more encumbered with everything. So I'm not giving them an advantage to be on the initiative over any of you. It just makes it easier to just go with them last. Why is this not working?
Make you ask questions.
This is why I wish I was just doing this from the PC. Okay, well, for the moment, let's just go ahead and we know. Yeah, it won't copy over. We know that Kamina starts off our initiative, so if there's any actions that you want to take that kind of fall into combat-related actions, we can kind of start tracking those. If you're still attempting to flee, or if you're just trying to have conversation or do something that, observations or things like that, then this is a bit of a modified combat session. So just let me know what you're thinking.
I will turn to my friend and tell them to leave in the most I can't say words.
Inconspicuous.
Quietly. That's the word. Inconspicuously as possible. And I will stay and help those who I can see around me. And as an action, I would, I guess, I don't really, I know how spellcasting works for investigators, so I guess I take a potion, my shield potion that I have prepared.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I'll stay here and try and make sure that any of the guards or militia near me are not following the people that are leaving behind me.
Okay. Ness, you are kind of right there. Right below the fountain, you can see that on either side of you, there are Cheliax militia members that are just laying into a number of the. Well, on one side, it's somebody who's trying to flee, and the other side, somebody's actually trying to attack them with what looks to be a dagger.
Where's the person on the other side? Just so I can make sure I get flanking.
Oh, okay. They are basically right above and where the one on the right is. So
Oh, okay, the one on the right.
I can
yeah.
click. I should be able to click in the spot.
All right. Yeah, that's not the one I'm gonna be attacking, so that's fine.
Okay. You're just gonna go to the one to the left.
Yeah, 5-foot step and full attack is pretty great. So Ness is filled with just a white hot fury, not barbarian rage, but rage nonetheless. And she bares her teeth, takes a 5-foot step, and lays into him. I'm going to use a swift action to call upon my domain of strength blessing, which gives me +1 to attack rolls for the rest of the round. And then I'm going to take a full attack action to attack with both of my claws and my bite. So...
Well, this ought to be fun.
It's Daphne against the fountain, like, okay.
We're, So, yeah, lunging forward, I'm going to swing first with one claw, which is an 8, so I'm guessing does not hit.
An 8 does not hit.
And then the other claw, which is a 22.
Damn.
That is a hit.
All right.
Yes.
And deals 10 damage.
Okay.
So,
great.
My
nice.
Okay,
it's max damage.
It is max damage. Yes.
It not only is it max damage, but it is enough damage. As you can see that this Cheliax militia member was not prepared for this. As this towering white lizard, lizard folk, let's be correct here, just barrels into him, literally tooth and claw, and is able to kind of fend off the first attack or so, but this claw swipes around and catches him along the neck, and in a rather awful display, he falls to the ground, weapon splayed, bouncing on the ground, and doesn't get back up.
Can I make the bite attack just for good measure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Overkill is a thing.
It's
a good display.
Kill is a thing.
Kill is a thing.
They're probably just unconscious. Does a 13 hit?
In this case, let me check.
Prone.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So the 2 of the 1/2 hits, and one of he falls, and Ness just still in the midst of this fury leans down and gives him a good deep bite on the shoulder and a good shake. and straightens back up with blood dripping from one claw and her very sharp fangs, looking around for her next victim.
You can see that the blood just kind of drips from Ness's mouth and just like traces along the fine carvings on the armor that she's wearing.
Doing my ancestors proud.
Yes. Okay. Well, darling, you just saw that happen in front of you. As this Shaliax militia member was just right next to you, and your brother was just hammering on this person trying to flee, and easily could have been one of you, and just this savage counterattack has left him very dead at your feet.
Look at this once stoic, now crazed lizard folk and wipe the blood off my face and go, thank you very much, and start to walk away to see if I'm allowed to leave.
Nez,
And if
Nez
yeah.
just doesn't even see her. Just
Great.
eyes already locked on the next militia, which is I guess this one. Right
making
here.
sure I'm not the target. So I would like to use a spell. I want to use Flare Burst, which is a 10-foot radius burst of light.
Ooh, okay.
Whoa.
My intention with that, I don't know how the mechanics work. My intention is that I'm hoping if I do it right in front of a group of militia / guards, that maybe it would blind them for a moment.
That sounds reasonable.
It should say if it'll give them any conditions in the spell description.
It says it functions as flare, but affects all creatures. It didn't say specifically that it blinded them, but
Okay,
I'm asking anyways.
So you gotta look at flare then, and see what that says.
Flare Pathfinder.
Yes, one of the long-standing traditions of
The creature is dazzled?
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't know what that means.
it's kind of it's similar to like dazed and other conditions. In
Yeah.
other words,
It's
what you're trying to do should work.
great. And for flare, which is the cantrip version, it says it lasts a minute, so functions as that. I guess it does that, but it's just bigger. So
yeah, a dazzled creature takes a -1 penalty on attack rolls and sight-based perception checks.
great. So where do I think that would be the most beneficial? I don't know if these opponents are realistically displaying like how many guards are around. If that is the case, then I guess I would put it over here. 10-foot radius, so a 20-foot diameter would affect all three of them. And the people there, but whatever.
There are
If you
there
can
are a
get
few
there with your move.
Well, it's a 25-foot range.
Oh, the spell's 25 foot?
It's a-
Okay.
Yeah,
So
to
you would-
cast is 25-foot range, and then the spell itself is a 10-foot radius burst of light.
Oh, yeah. So you would just have to move, like, somewhere there. So it'd be able
That
to
sounds
reach.
right.
I'll step a little closer.
And to
And
give you
then-
some, to give you an answer real quick to the question of, does this represent all of the guards? No, but it
Okay,
represents
I didn't
all
think
of the
so.
guards in this part of the park here.
Okay.
There
Okay.
are other Datari that look as though they are basically have been posted, along other parts of the park that are rushing to this part right here. They're a few rounds away.
Okay.
But yeah, these are the ones that we are concerned with at the moment.
Bad guys have reinforcements incoming. Got it.
They do.
Well, that's scary.
Post what I'm doing.
That's very scary.
Okay. There we go. So, the saving throw is Fortitude, DC 15.
Yes.
Sounds
Okay.
good for level 1.
So they are. Oh, nice! I have both of them. Okay, good. Here we go.
And it says it's 1 SA. Is that a swift action? Does that mean I still have an action?
No.
Standard action. Okay.
So you still have your. Well, you used your move, and that's your standard. So if you have a swift action thing after this, you can. But
I don't think I do.
each of those guards there has to roll fortitude.
What acronym would swift action be? Everything I have is 1 SA, so or 1 round.
So there aren't real. Ooh, that's a fail. There aren't
Hooray!
really swift action spells in Pathfinder.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like 5e where some spells are bonus action and some spells are standard action. There are some abilities that will let you cast spells as swift actions or as part of other actions, but generally all your spells are going to be standard actions. Like I have a thing starting at 2nd level that lets me cast a spell targeting myself as a swift action so many times per day.
Yeah.
But that doesn't come from the spell itself. It comes from the class ability.
Okay, so they have all failed their saves. You can see that this bright flare goes off, and it's sort of blinds those in the area. Even a lot of the people even trying to flee or but cowering a bit, putting their hands up. The guards are trying to push forward, but they've had to turn away, kind of close their eyes for a moment, and even as they've started to get used to the light there, trying to squint against it, you can see that it's definitely made it more difficult for them to push their assault.
Huzzah. Am I allowed to break up my movement and move the rest of my speed?
So technically, no, not yeah. Okay. There are.
I'm asking.
Yeah, no, good. So there are feats and abilities that do let you do that.
Okay.
But baseline, no. Baseline, it is if you can either move before or after an action.
Great. Then that is the end of my turn.
Okay. Meanwhile, your brother, who is still trying to recover from this just savage display, kind of turns in time to see you cast off the spell, and it's like, "What are you doing? Riot, can we just run?
I don't want anyone to see us.
Well, they're gonna see us now.
They're blinded. I know what I'm doing. I know how to count my chicken. Which is one of the Italian phrases.
I love it.
Says the girl who's probably never been near
I've
a
never-
live chicken in her life?
No. No.
Oh God, no.
God, no. Maybe a swan.
Which is funny because you, the player, work on a farm.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, there is somebody missing here that I should drop on here. Okay, Gora.
So
You and your
Gorham will see
retainer-
the violence breaking out around him and realize it is the perfect time to regale everyone with the tale of the taking of Kintargo, the first taking of Kintargo,
let's go.
and will break out his inspiring rage.
I
so-
want
Oh
a
my
bump spell.
As a standard action, I use my inspiring rage. So any ally who can hear my speech, because my perform is an oratory, not a song. So I'm recounting this magnificent tale of the first conquest that founded the city of Kintargo as my inspiring rage. So any ally at the beginning of their turn, if they desire, so no one's required to take this, but you can if you want. We'll get a +2 morale bonus on strength and constitution, and a +1 morale bonus to will saving throws, but take a -1 penalty to armor class. And you cannot use any charisma, dexterity, or intelligence-based skills other than acrobatics, fly, intimidate, and ride. So essentially, it's like a mini barbarian's rage. You also can't use any ability that requires patience or concentration if you accept the rage.
I see.
None of the downsides other than the armor class penalty apply to me, so I can still like cast spells and do all that normal stuff if I want to. So I'm going to take the bonus to strength and constitution and will saves and the penalty to armor class, and anyone else who hears my inspiring story about the founding of Kintargo can also take these bonuses.
I mean,
Gotcha.
well, after all, patience in this economy.
It's up to y'all. I'm simply providing the benefit. And then that is Gorham's turn because it takes a standard action for me to do this.
So wait, what?
Okay.
What save do we get a bonus to?
Will saves.
Okay, we'll save. Yep.
And it's at the start of your turn that you take on. You can choose to take on the benefits. So if you get attacked between now and the start of your turn, you don't get those benefits. But you also don't take the penalty to your armor class until the start of your next turn. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can see that your retainers have basically pulled up on either side of you, weapons drawn. Occasionally,
I fully expect Chile to take on the benefits of my inspiring rage, but I have no idea about the other one because I don't remember their name.
Yeah, and if I told you right now, you wouldn't remember their name again.
You know their name?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay, good.
I mean, we come up with one, but it wouldn't matter because,
What are we
Gordon's not
talking
going to
about
remember their
again?
name. Exactly. But your retainers have drawn weapons. They will take the benefits of the rage. They are basically pushing people back that are kind of people are getting bunched up and stuck here. And so you're kind of getting encroached in on. So they're kind of pushing back on people, and they're looking around for, some guards to smash if they have to. But you can see that even the sensible and oftentimes conscious that Chile represents, he is definitely raging out a little himself.
Someone's got to get that kid out of a shell. And apparently
Right.
it's talking about the original founding of Kintargo.
Oh my gosh. I feel like this is going to be like turning into a scene outside of a scene out of the recent edition of Cyrano, the recent movie they did.
At some point, I'm going to tell the story of how me and Chile met, and he'll be really upset that I'm doing that, but he'll also be really angry and hitting things, so it's okay.
That's how you
Yeah.
get him angry enough to hit things.
Exactly. It's twofer.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Um, there are a few people we have to take into consideration. You'll see that people are trying to flee. Some are having some success, other are not. The three guards who have been blinded are starting to try to recover, though you can see that people have escaped on this side with a little bit more success. Uh, they're getting a little bit more bunched in on this side, on the right side, and as the violence continues, you can see that the Cheliax militia members are um, the one that is basically directly above on the map. So, I mean, we can call it north, I guess. Um, from Kamina has begun to basically has taken someone to the ground and is just beating away at them with a mace. Um, and you can see that the ones that were the other members of this protest that were kind of starting to give a good fight at the beginning are struggling a bit more now. Hedon Hayes, for his part, seems to take a bit of a step back up on the fountain towards. I think he's going to. Yeah, I think this is what he's going to have to do. So towards Darling, and he'll basically reach out and be like, "You should flee if you can. I know a safe place."
Your place?
No, we don't want to bring attention to it. I know a safe house that we could use.
Okay, what's it near? Tell me quick.
He basically will tell you. Do you remember the Fair Fortune Livery?
Yes, I think so.
It may not be running, but there's still a place to hide. Retreat there if you can. I'm going to try and get a few others out of here myself. And so we will move on to the start of the next round. Kamina. You can see that the violence has picked up quite a bit. And that near you there are people who have been caught up by these militia members and are basically being beaten. You can also see that your companion is struggling kind of to urge you to flee and is seeming ready to do so himself.
A little more forcefully this time, I will tell them, you need to leave. You must leave. And I will move forward to the Chilaxian fighter ahead of me. And
you want to go home and rethink your life.
Yes.
I love this. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're moving up to the one above you?
Yeah, I'll go to that one.
That one?
Okay. So, this is kind of the moment. This is sort of what all of this, all of these extracurricular activities, the work you've done with this professor and your other companions is leading you up to. It's been a tremendous amount of talk and even some action here and there. I suppose taking subtle actions to try and make a difference and bring the name back to life for the city. But these could be your first real steps.
Yeah.
So you've... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That's fine. As sort of a person who's kind of more used to being in the background, doing the behind-the-scenes sort of things, actually engaging in combat is kind of new. She's trained in swordsmanship, but has not really engaged in it in this level, so.
Well, it's definitely trading the pen for the sword a bit, or I guess ink for blade here. But you can see that the guard seems, or the militia member seems pretty occupied on just savagely beating the person he has on the ground. Hasn't quite noticed you yet.
I'm just going to go right in for an attack.
Okay.
If I can do this correctly.
Ooh.
Okay, well, that is definitely an attack, or definitely a hit. I'm sorry. And this is with a rapier?
Yes.
Okay. Well, with rapiers, that should be a chance to confirm for a critical.
Oh yeah.
Because it is a hit.
Rapier's crit range is 18 to 20.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Basically, yeah, if you want to roll your attack again,
okay.
See.
Alright, that's also a hit, so you crit, which means you double your double the damage of your initial attack.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Do you usually have +1 to strength? Or is this +1 from the
It's
range?
the +4 is weapon finesse.
No, right. I mean the damage.
Oh yes, +1 from strength. Yes.
Okay. So you should,
I think,
actually deal 2 more damage. So you should end up dealing 8 here.
Right, 8 total.
Because
okay.
of Gorham's
Assuming
inspiring rage.
Assuming you're taking the benefits of it.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You don't have
say what the benefits were again. I heard them, internalized them, and then forgot them.
This makes perfect sense. I think we all will until we get used to it. Any chance you want to recite it again, Gorham? I can give it a go, but I think you probably know it better than I do at this point.
You heard my name, and I missed the surrounding text.
What does
the
inspiring
from
rage
yours.
do?
Yeah.
+2 to strength and con, +1 to will saves, -1 to armor class, and you can't use charisma, dexterity, or intelligence-based skills aside from acrobatics, fly, intimidate, and ride, nor can you use any ability that requires patience or concentration.
Right. Okay. I think I was going to not utilize that.
Okay.
Completely.
I'm not terribly
sure most of the
surprised.
time it's just going to be me and Ness.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm
random
not
NPCs.
terribly surprised. But that, like you do hear the story just echoing out across. I mean, Aria Park was built for giving speeches and oratories and presentations. I mean, it is designed for it. So in some ways, it's kind of lending to the performance itself. But you can hear this rousing tale being just echoing across the park. And
I think, for me, I can kind of hear it, but in that like kind of muffled adrenaline way where you're like your ears are fuzzy and you're like tuning
Yes.
everything out. I think it's kind of that situation.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, this is a lot of adrenaline, and but I have to tell you, you made a very effective attack on this Cheliax member. And you can see that he stumbles a bit as the blade comes out, and turns, kind of pulls himself up painfully, and with a lot of anguish mixed with fury on his face, he turns and goes, "You'll pay for that." So we are on to Ness. Ness, you could see the last few twitches of the Cheliax member at your feet as the life leaves them. But they are not alone. There are others who are struggling for their freedom against these militia members and the Tatari themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear there's this rousing story that's echoing across the park. It is rife with stories of rising up and throwing off oppression. And
I'm very inspired by those.
I see. Okay.
Like, if they can do it, then I can do it, and I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna charge this guy to the right. I'm gonna charge like up to right here to get that flanking bonus, because you said someone was attacking right above them.
Yeah, they are. They're not faring well, but they're still attacking. They have a dagger, and
Okay.
they're
But so in order to charge, Ness drops to all fours and sprints like in the like very ungainly manner of an iguana, where she's like her limbs are
7-foot long iguana.
Yeah, her limbs are moving, but her just forward, but her body is zigzagging. It's just so awkward, and I assume incredibly terrifying because her mouth is open, and so she has like a 7-foot, very incredibly yoked iguana just running at you with blood and drool dripping from her fangs. And I'm gonna make a bite attack against this guy.
This is amazing.
And, at the end of my charge here, so. Oh, that's gonna it's gonna do 7 damage.
Okay. You barrel into him, nearly knocking him off his feet, and definitely away from the out of the. He kind of had the protester kind of held with one hand as he was beating him with the mace, and kind of trying to lock his arm that had the dagger out, sort of above this arm.
The attack roll actually should have been a 28 because I forgot the flanking. But anyway,
it's
we're
very
good.
fine. If we were playing a different system, it would probably be a critical. As it is, it is a solid hit. You have
that would have critted in Pathfinder 2, I think. It would have been 10 over his. But
yeah,
Pathfinder 1, it just deals 7 damage. So,
which is a lot here in this case. You've basically nearly knocked him to the ground. You've broken his grip on the person he was attacking, and he's kind of stumbles and tries to recover and shake it off. And you can see him glaring towards you, and then as he's kind of looking you up and down, kind of stands and takes a deep breath, like it's a long sigh, and just wipes the blood, and goes, looks up and goes, "I fought bigger."
So have I.
Okay. Sorry, Ness. Sorry.
It's Darling.
Oh my gosh,
right?
Daphne, Darling. I couldn't remember Darling. Yes, Darling. We're back to you.
I I posted a meme about it, but I'm gonna have Darlin have a self-reflecting moment as she's like looking at Hitaman, but then she sees Ness like running through, and she's like, almost like in this moment of like what at first like terrified her. Now that there's some distance, she's a bit in awe. Like she's never seen a creature like this before, just like gone completely feral,
A
coming from a
creature
world
with
of being
no regard for propriety.
no regard. There's something
Euro.
inspiring, alluring. I don't know.
No, the inspiring thing is my speech.
Exactly. Seeing all this to the backdrop of this whole story, right?
So Darlin, at some point, I imagine will have like a very honed ear for Gordon's voice, but at this point, she's very well trained to ignore his voice at all costs.
That checks out.
Anything he said has been an insult, so why would it be different now? One day I imagine.
Insults under you.
What was that?
Exactly.
Honestly insulting.
Never.
Nah.
Never anything about family. So with these guards who are dazzled, not blinded, and with the intention of me running to the Fair Fortune livery, which I checked the map, which is to the east. If this map orientation is the same, then that means I need to run the other direction.
Oh.
So that's great. So those guys are dazzled. I'm gonna start running. My speed I think is 30. Sounds standard, right?
Yeah, 30 for a move action. If you take your whole round to run, I'm pretty sure it's 4 times that. So
4 times?
yes. If all you're
Okay.
doing is running, it's 4 times. Pretty
I'm
sure.
just gonna move my speed for now. I was trying to find out on my. There it is.
You can also.
Oh, I see the run speed.
Yeah. If you take a full round to make a charge attack, you can run up to twice your speed in a straight line and then make a melee attack.
I'm gonna turn to my brother, kind of like grab his lapels, and my eyes kind of like burn a little bit with flame in the irises, and I say, "Go home," and I push him aside, and I start running through the crowd, and I'm gonna take around my waist. I have a chain that at the end of each are censers, like you would see in churches where they have like incense burners. So she wears those around her waist like a belt, and they kind of clang to her side, but she unwraps them as she gets ready to run, and she starts swinging them around. And starts trying to book it through the crowd. Should anyone get in her way, she's gonna knock them in the face.
So you're just taking your movement speed basically right now. You're not actually trying to run to a double movement.
I'm just gonna take my movement because I think story-wise, it's more interesting if somebody gets in my way.
They're going to. And like more importantly, like trying to run through this crowd, like I'm not sure it's going to be possible.
Yeah, that seems.
So like I might have been like maybe you could take a double movement, but like you're probably going to lose some of your movement speed. You might have to perform a check to see if you can get through without being tripped. But yeah, if you're going to take your movement,
yeah, take my movement and then have somebody get in my way.
Oh yes, the Tatari guard there is going to very much get in your way. So this will be fun.
I think mechanically, I was imagining that I would use my censures as like a sap, because they just do some bludgeoning, right? They're just metal balls.
I mean,
basically.
unless they get designed. There are ways that we could design this to be a more.
There are things I can do
efficient and
magically.
deadly
I'm just
weapon.
not doing them yet.
Got it.
This sounds
So
like
yeah,
an improvised
I
weapon
could
to me.
set them on fire, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Is what my intentions for them are in the future.
I know that this is something that you are frequently performing with, so I don't want to really just limit them to improvised weapons, because it's not as though it's like you've looked around for something to use and you're not familiar with it. So I think maybe treating it like a sap that might have some range, like a 10-foot range, maybe, depending on how you're using it.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with that.
Okay. So, she's unwrapped them, she started swinging them around to kind of create some momentum, and as she's charging through, who gets in her way?
So, you can see that this heavily armored member of the Tatari Guard kind of steps in front of you as you're moving through the crowd and says, I'm afraid you're not going anywhere, miss. In the name of the Lord Mayor, we are detaining you under suspicions of acts of rebellion.
And she kind of like drags her centaur along the ground and whips it around and spins around and just two-handed slams it into his face. No regard for anyone around her. She's like...
People are like trying to duck out of the way and like
everyone's
just, like,
in my
dropping
way
to the ground. I would love to see how this goes.
Her original attitude from last session of just move.
Yeah.
Kindly remove yourself from my way, sir.
So I don't have this set up on my sheet.
Right.
Is this rolling a D20 situation?
Yes.
And then
yeah, so
what would I add to that?
Your strength modifier.
Well, I rolled a 17 and I got a +0.
Unless you have weapon finesse, in
head.
which case you add your dice.
Oh wait, I do. I got a.
Of course you do. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, why wouldn't I get agile maneuvers? Sense.
I mean, everyone has at least 2 feet.
Well, I got one that's specifically for this, so I can use my dex instead of my strength for combat maneuvers.
Yeah, this is combat maneuvers doesn't include attack rolls. Combat maneuvers is doing fancy stuff like tripping or disarming or grappling.
Which is going to be really cool.
It's
so
going to
that's
be really
a great
cool and really useful, yeah.
Well, it's okay for now because I rolled a 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a solid hit as these things slam into the side of his head.
D6?
Is that what a sap deals?
Yeah, that's what I have. It's D6 non-lethal.
Nice.
I rolled a 1. Ding! Right off a metal helmet. It's something.
That's probably what happens. It was enough to kind of leave him shaken a little for a second as they slam into the side of a helm, and they're just you can hear it ringing a bit, but they kind of bounce off a little bit as well and dull the impact as he kind of shakes it off and kind of pulls his sword up and goes, "You really shouldn't have done that."
I've only ever hit like straw dummies before. Let me try harder.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Okay. And I believe that's the end of my turn.
Yeah, your brother is still shouting after you like a dummy. Just stuck right where he is, and you can see that Hedemon has kind of turned to him and is like shaking him and like trying to talk to him like in a reasonable way to shake him out of it.
I opened the path for him. Those people were blinded. He's just being dramatic.
So
I opened a path for him by making a hole.
Yes.
Many paths open.
Several holes, actually, in that one guy.
Get out of here, Logan.
Okay, so Gorum, we're back to you.
So Gorum, continuing to recount his tale of the founding of Kintargo, notices that Darlin has gotten herself in a little bit of a scrap, and knows that it is probably smart of him to try and win points with House Serini. Uh, Moves the full 15 feet of his movement up next to. I only get 20 feet of movement, and it's reduced because I'm wearing medium armor, so I get to move 15 feet around. But that's enough to get me right up next to the guy that you're standing with. And as I'm like talking about the very first battle, right as part of the story, I hit him right in the head with my hammer. Well, I can't reach his head, so I hit him right in the chest with my hammer.
Kneecap him.
That might actually be the most convenient place to reach. All right, let's roll this. I got an 8 to hit.
Woof.
Woof, indeed. So,
A big old 4.
yeah, he basically it swings a little bit wide of him as there's still a bit of movement happening as he's kind of starting to circle a little bit to try and get a better lead in on attacking Daphne.
I am so ready for this game to go just like the Tuesday game with my rolls.
Oh, I hope not. Oh God, I need this to be the opposite of the Tuesday game for your rolls.
Yes.
Well, so far, Tuesday's more than a state of being; it's currently a state of mind. And that is Gorham's turn.
Okay. So, Hedamon has finished kind of trying to shake some sense into your brother, and you can see your brother, Logan's eventually turning, and he seems to very reluctantly start to run through the hole that's been opened up in the other direction. And you're hoping that he is at least heading home. But after that, you can see that Hedamon kind of turns and looks around, surveys what's going on, and basically makes his way to the other side of the fountain. And is kind of shouting to a number of the people he's kind of seeing fighting around here. He wouldn't be shouting. He's a little more subtle than that. He's going to make his way to the other side, but he's keeping an eye on the people who are still fighting. So if anybody's paying any close attention to what he's doing, he seems to be appraising the situation here. Meanwhile, these guards have been a bit blinded, the ones who are over on the left side, and the flare that has gone off there. They're kind of pushing in around it. They're trying to close in on the people who have stayed fighting. So they're moving in a bit. They're trying to close in the circle, so to speak. Similar over here, you have the basically the only one who's not engaged in combat currently happens to have a crossbow. These on the outside there were 2 with crossbows, and he looks to be taking a draw up on Darlin, and then seeing Gorham come over and make this attack is now taking a bead on our boisterous gnome here.
Well, I wish him luck firing into melee.
Right? Wish him luck. Sometimes they have precise shot.
This one?
But no, this one doesn't. And yeah. And yeah, there's very little chance this shot is going to actually hit, but we'll worry about that in a second. But the thing you do notice is that just because it's just this very hair-raising, deep, echoing growl, you can hear what sounds to be an iron gate slamming kind of shut as Nox, who is the captain of the Datari here, has basically had opened and is now closing the gate to here to the opera house, and has brought out a absolutely terrifying and in some places smoldering hound.
Ooh.
So, anybody here happen to have knowledge planes?
Yep.
Knowledge.
I
mean, I can roll it, even though I'm untrained, because I'm a scald.
That's true.
There's that.
Feel free to roll it. Both of you.
I did. That's
did.
a nat 20 for a 23 total.
Let's go.
Wow.
Gorham knows the thing!
Kamina, did you want to roll as well?
I think I can. At least not yet.
Yeah, if you don't have ranks in knowledge planes, I don't think you can make the check unless you're a bard.
Yeah, I can't make a knowledge skill check untrained until 3rd level.
Okay.
I have it as part of a trait that isn't something I can load into this sheet.
Okay.
So plus class skill 7. I don't really know.
Well, you can always you can always check off your class skills, right?
Yeah, I think there's a way to do it. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at it.
Checkbox to the left of the skill.
I see.
And then if you have any
It's
ranks
okay.
in it, it'll add it in.
I failed.
Sure. Well, it's not as clear cut as that. You know that this is not just a simple, angry guard dog or anything. This is definitely something, some type of either devil or devil-bound creature. You just don't recognize it. Gorham, however, you know exactly what this is. This is a hellhound. And it is a far more dangerous thing than any of these guards around you. It is, in fact, a devil in its own right in many ways, and contains a number of fiery and violent ways to, slaughter and very quickly and efficiently. And is not known for withholding from that violence. So if they have decided to bring out a hellhound, they are not holding back any
longer. Gorham continues to tell his story about Kintargo, but you can definitely tell there's a lot more concern and angst in his voice than there was at the beginning of this tale. And it doesn't make any sense because we're at a relatively slow part of the story.
Fair, that's true. Okay, let me go ahead and make this roll really quick. See if this guy has a chance in heck. Oh no. This crossbow bolt goes wide of you. It does happen to catch somebody in the hip in the crowd, which is unfortunate, but
looks to be that person.
Definitely, yeah, not their day. But it sailed just completely over your head. So, womp womp. We are at the top of the round again. Oh, no, we're not. Sorry. I have to make some combat attacks for the other guards. What am I doing?
Yeah, come at
Totally
me.
distracted by... totally distracted by the story here. Like, well,
You've chosen to do that.
I have chosen violence. Okay, so this is going to be the attack from the Cheliax militia member on Ness. Did I get that right? It's Ness.
Yep.
Okay, just check it. Okay, so this is 3. Wish them luck. Oh, it's a
That
19. It's a good, solid swing.
normally that would not hit, but because I am inspired to rage and because I charged, I'm a little off balance and a little too angry to get out of the way fast enough.
Okay, all right. Well, stranger things have happened.
4 seasons of them, in fact.
4 seasons of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, ow.
So ow is right.
Yeah.
And that is a. They are 6. There's 3. 6. Okay. For 8 points of damage as the mace catches you along the jaw. As he makes this mighty swing upward at you and just snarls.
Ow. That is rude.
What's your total?
Right?
My total right now is 14.
What? How many hit points do you have?
14. I have.
Does that
Oh, I
include
see.
the extra hit point you get because your con went up by 2?
Yes, that does.
Okay.
Yeah, I have max for my hit die, which is 8. I have +4 to Constitution, and then I took an HP for my favorite class. So I usually have 13, but right now my con is +5, so my HP is 14 right now.
Ouch. But despite this savage swing, you kind of you're able to withstand it. And honestly, this guard had this snarl, and you see it kind of turns into this satisfied smile as he smacks you, two-handed with the mace, just swinging upwards at your face, catches you on the jaw, and he's thinking he must have dropped you, but you see you kind of straighten back up, and you can see he
full height.
Takes a step back. Yeah, he kind of takes a step back and goes, "Oh shoot." So, meanwhile, on to the other Cheliax militia member who has turned now, mace drawn, and on Kamina, having taken a pretty savage rapier strike basically in the back, totally unaware of it coming. He's now turned and is getting ready to return the favor. Takes this swing at you. What did I just roll? Oh, here it is. Oh, takes a swing at you, and in his haste just completely whiffs.
Woof.
Possibly just off balance from having stood up and turned too quickly, and maybe lost too much blood too fast, and was not able to connect. But he's reeling a bit and gets to his feet again, and looks like he's trying to pull up to attack again. But he'll have to wait for that. Meanwhile, back with our 2 nobles, you can see that this Tatari is ready to take a swing at Darlin with the sword, and is basically, having taken a good look at you, realized that he might be dealing with noble. So he's kind of switched to using the flat of his blade, but he's still he's not pulling any punches with it. He's going to smack you as hard as he can.
I tried to do that too, so that's fair. It's just us. We took off our gloves and we slapped each other in the face.
Right?
I challenge you to a duel.
Okay. So, he's going to take some penalties for doing this, but he's going to try and make this attempt anyway. Oh! Well, there's that.
It's not what you
Yeah.
want.
Not what you
wanna
want.
see.
So that's a crit threat.
Woo! Am I
Let's
gonna
see.
die?
I mean,
It's level
look,
1, maybe.
anything's
I don't
possible. It's
have-
level 1.
I don't have a lot of HP.
Yes.
Okay. Does
What's your
17
AC?
hit?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's a crit.
You girls got
Okay.
a 13 over here.
Yeah, we gotta get you some armor or something.
What's
I'm
your
wearing a
magic.
nice cloak.
This is why you have to just take the rich parents trait and buy Masterwork armor at level 1.
what's
Look.
your dexterity?
Plus
I
3.
would not.
Okay, and it's just
I
no
would
armor.
not have been wearing armor either.
That makes sense.
It's just. I wouldn't have been wearing armor either. I get it.
Yeah,
I would not.
it makes barding easier.
I mean, barding's its own type of armor, isn't it? Not that barding. Sorry. Okay, so yeah,
Even if I had leather armor on, it would only be a 15. So
that part is true.
okay, so because he's not using, I'm gonna basically treat it like a category down because it would be an improvised weapon in this case. In some ways, he's not trained to use the flat of the blade. So let's see what we end up with once we double thing. Jeez.
what's the total?
So yeah, doubling that, we would end up with
14.
14 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm down.
Okay, but not out because it's bludgeoning. First of all,
Well,
and
does
second of all,
is it
because
non-lethal?
shouldn't be. It's lethal.
Okay.
He's not to pull it to be non-lethal. Well, actually, that's a really good question. Could he have done that? It might have changed the rules a bit.
You do whatever you
I
think
think
is the
you can-
coolest. That's my DMing rule.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
So-
I think the results are Darlin is unconscious. Whether that's an
Yes.
unconscious we need to deal with immediately or can wait about is the question.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh no.
So what?
I think we can actually.
Bard problems.
Yeah, non-lethal damage. I think you just take like a -4 penalty if you're doing
That sounds
non-lethal
right.
damage with a lethal weapon.
To hit.
Okay,
yeah.
so this
Yeah,
is
minus
this
4
is
to hit.
this is what I was doing with him. So this works.
Okay, so the whole thing would have hit, just non-lethal. Like he
Just
still would have
non-lethal.
crit.
Okay.
Still would have, yeah. So we don't have to change
All right, so good.
anything.
It's non-lethal. It's
Great.
left. Okay, perfect.
So you
but
are
yeah, it has left-
unconscious but not dying.
Taking a nice nap.
The not dying part's a big game.
It's a big game.
Okay. Yeah, we were not expecting that. Okay, this brings us back to the top of the initiative.
I guess with that, would I have seen Darlin go down? Would I have noticed it?
There's a lot of commotion happening still. People are kind of dropping left and right.
Just-
But, I'll go ahead and give me a perception check. Normally I
That's
wouldn't ask for
dramatic.
this, but there's a
Passing
lot. Yeah,
out. Oh.
really. Yeah, I could just see kind of this. Oh,
Oh
It's a pretty good perception check.
no. 19.
you absolutely see this happen. You could hear this smack heard across the park as it just this absolute solid just thunk as this sword just catches her on the side of the head.
Batter
It's
up.
gonna Definitely leave a knot.
Oh, it's gonna hurt tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So, another question. One of my spells, my extracts, cure light wounds. That does,
Yeah.
even though I take the extract, it's like casting a spell. So I can heal somebody else using cure light wounds.
I think that's a touch spell,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Yes.
you would need to get to her to do that.
Yeah. I just want to make sure before I move that I can do that.
You're an
Sure.
alchemist?
Alchemist works.
It's-
Inquisitor.
Oh,
It's the same
okay.
formula list.
Right.
Right. Okay.
That's something I forgot to look up before this. That I'm just realizing.
Look, it's especially when you're learning new, first of all, especially when you're learning a new game system in some ways, but when you're learning new classes and things, like I expect that we're gonna have to check on these things for a while at first. So not a big deal to check. It's it's probably fun for our listeners who haven't had a chance to get familiar with some of these things themselves to learn about it as well. So but yeah, in this case, you are aware that she's gone down. You do know you have a means to help her, though she's far from the only one here who looks like they could use the help. She's you have people on the ground who are kind of hurt and struggling and maybe not entirely unconscious. There are a few people besides her that look like they may be on the verge of dying, but this happened right in front of your eyes. So it makes a lot of sense that you might be drawn to try to help her. But you do know you're in a kind of a tough position. You were basically engaged in combat with one of these Chaliak's militia members. And if you were to try to just dash off to help her, they would likely have an attack of opportunity on.
Yeah.
You do have a few options. There are ways to withdraw from combat that would prevent that from happening, but you wouldn't be able to take any other actions this round other than doing that. So you might be able to get to her, but you wouldn't be able to heal her. You could just try to deal with any attack that might come, and just move on. Or you could try to finish this guy off and then take a movement, and at least you would be there to help her with healing next round.
It looks like the person who drinks the extract gets the benefit. So it looks like you would have to give her the extract for her.
I have cure light wounds on my spell list, and I'm literally standing right next to her. So
yeah. Also, that's also like you could trust the short stranger, or if you would like to, that's an option.
there's nothing strange about Gorham. Also, his pronouns are he/him.
This is good.
I see what you were trying to do there. You're so good at trying.
Occasionally, I'm good at succeeding.
I think.
We'll see.
Go ahead.
So I think I can tell that she probably has people around her that will help, between the short guy with the large hammer and the shopkeep. So I will just take an attack on this guy and try to finish him.
Okay. Well, it looks as though he's regained his footing now, finally. And he's able to basically dodge back from this strike, and seems to be preparing to make a counter of his own. So you've made this attack. Is there anything else that you want to do with like a movement action or things, like bear in mind if you do move, because you've made an attack, if you do move far enough, more than a 5-foot step, you would also be subject to, like, there could be an attack of opportunity from them. But you have some options.
I think I will skirt around him to get off the grass and onto the like paved area above. Just like there.
Okay.
Still within his reach, so not out of his reach for an opportunity attack. I assume it works similarly.
Well, it is similar. Yeah, it does work similarly. It's just taking more than 5-foot step and even like around him would be enough.
Okay.
In Pathfinder 1,
So, like,
in Pathfinder 1, it's not leaving someone's reach, it's leaving any square they threaten.
Right, yeah.
So you can take a 5-foot step, like, right here.
There.
Even here diagonally is an option as well. You can take a 5-foot, like, 5-foot steps specifically don't provoke attacks of opportunities. So you can take them in any direction, even out of his reach. And as long as you only take the 5-foot step as your movement, you don't provoke anything.
Yeah, that 5-foot diagonal step does work.
That works, yeah.
If that's what you wanted to do.
Okay, yes. That is where I would go.
Okay. Ness, you just took a pretty solid blow to the jaw. And a very smug Cheliax militia member, having just assumed that was going to drop you, kind of sees you kind of pull yourself back up to your full height and takes a step back and goes, "Oh, shoot."
So, Ness, now, like, she opens her mouth and doesn't bother swallowing or spitting, so she's just sort of spraying him with both her blood and the blood of his dead comrade, as she says, "Some lizards swallow whole. You, not so lucky." And then takes a full attack action.
That's so lucky. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see how quickly we dismantle this poor militia member.
Yeah, well, he's already wounded, so let's take. So here's the first claw. Does 16 hit?
A 16 hits.
All right, taking 7 damage.
Do you want to keep attacking?
Yes.
Go ahead and make the other 2 attacks.
The fewer of these people that get healed and come after us later, the better. Also, Ness is dead. Yeah. So, it's 10 more. And another 11.
Everything hits.
Look, I got him to mostly dead, but there's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Mostly dead is slightly alive. When they're all dead, there's only one thing you can do: go through their pockets for loose change. But Ness cares too little for money and too much for saving lives to bother taking the time to do that in this case. I am gonna take a 5-foot step this way, though. We're going up and to the right. So, like, standing on the body, I guess, in this case. And shouting to everybody else. Because I've felt Gorham's fear at this very angry dog, and I don't. And the numbers.
Trepidation is a much better and more accurate word than fear.
Okay. Trepidation.
According to Gorham, Chile would also agree with you that it's fear.
I think Chile might upgrade it to terror. If he's anything like his.
That's whether or not he's at his Pepto.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it has a reputation.
I'm gonna scream to everybody. Again, the other part of this is I've been outnumbered in fights before. I don't like it when some of these people are looking very experienced, and so I'm gonna yell again. Still spraying blood everywhere, of course, because no self-awareness here. Run while you can. As I head towards them, vaguely in the direction of this last militia person that this lady I've never seen is fighting.
Okay. So yeah, we don't need for Daphne to roll a check to stabilize in this case.
No.
She's merely been knocked unconscious, but it will take some time to heal on recover on your own. So we're gonna move to Gorham for a moment, and kind of see how things go from there.
Okay. So Gorham doesn't see any sort of real reason to bring up Darlin while she's still literally next to the guy who knocked her unconscious. So he's just going to swing his hammer at that guy again and hope it works out better this time.
Oh.
It didn't. It didn't work out better this time.
He rolled good damage, though.
Really good damage. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, I feel like this is one of those moments where like it's almost like holding you at arm's length. But yeah, he's
put his
basically
hand on Gorham's head, and Gorham's trying to swing his hammer at him, and he can't quite reach.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. Is it's may not be actually what's happening, but it's the spirit of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
You know, the guards are dangerous. They're very capable, more so than the militia. But yeah. So is there anything else that you want to do? You still have movement, potential free actions, things you could do.
I feel no desire to move and provoke an attack of opportunity, so I'm just gonna chill.
That seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's likely that I could see your companions trying to make attacks as well here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna make some quick rolls and see how this plays out.
I'm still like regaling the story of the founding of Kintargo, by the way.
Oh, well, of course. Yeah,
Seeping into my dreams.
You were having a nightmare about the first rebellion.
Nat 20!
Okay, so I'm having a night with those. Apparently, I'm glad that I'm doing this as one of your companions and not one of the guards. Again.
Really?
Right? Okay. Okay. So, what kind of weapon would Sheely likely have?
Longsword, probably.
Longsword? Okay.
Just imagine him with a big book.
Something
So,
real.
let me see if I've got somebody here I can just throw in. Oh, that's one of. Oh, I can't use that one. All right, we're fine. So let me make one more attack here and see if we can get a little bit more damage. But you can see that Chile has basically just shouting, a little bit of spittle flying from his face, has stepped up basically to that square between you and Darlin and just takes the savage downward swing towards the Datari guard and catches him on the shoulder. And you can see the blade crunches through the armor there, and definitely it gets a solid hit in on this guy. Okay, let's see here. The other retainer makes another quick roll. Does not have the same success, however, as his weapon is just bounces uselessly off of the armor. Okay. At this point, you can see that Hedemon has basically seems to be gesturing towards Ness as subtly as he can, kind of just like to gesturing like sort of a follow motion.
Okay.
As he takes a step up towards Darlin and crouches quickly and seems to lay a hand on her.
Who's doing this?
Hedemon. You would know Hedemon Hayes as the proprietor of a fine.
I know who Hedemon is. I just missed that part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's Hedemon. Hedemon has moved.
He's my
basically.
tailor.
Right? Look, I'm. For those of you, I've having read this story, a bit. I can't help. For those of you who have seen like Star Trek Deep Space Nine, I can't help but think of Hedemon like Garrick, and I have a feeling that that's going to come through a lot in my portrayal of him. So enjoy. But he's come up and he has laid hands upon the unconscious Darlin here, and seems to be attempting to cast some type of spell for anybody close enough to see.
Wow, what a similar character story.
Ooh.
Okay, well, that's 5 points of healing.
Oh,
That's
yay.
the absolute worst I could do to heal you.
Oh, okay. It's more than half my hit points, so that's great.
Is it okay? Is it enough to bring you to 0 or above?
Well, I took 14, right?
Yes.
I don't know how to track hit points in this game.
I know we're gonna have to work on it. I think we're gonna add a few things in before the next session so that we can track stuff better.
I just am uneducated. Wow, I'm struggling to do basic math.
This is me normally. Don't worry.
Okay, so I got 5. I was
Yes.
-5.
Okay, so you're conscious, but a bit staggered. So you would only be able to take a single action, either move or attack, every round. But you are back to consciousness if you want to do anything this round. You're just in a precarious spot.
Okay, so does Hedmon like look like a classic tiefling, like he's like red and got horns and stuff?
Yes. I'm hoping to use a better picture that I'm trying to get done if he's going to be around long term. But for now, let's just go with what we're seeing. Yeah, he is, which I guess we're not really seeing very well. But yeah, so basic classic, your classic tiefling.
So as Darling comes back to consciousness, I think there's a part of her that thinks that she's seeing Asmodeus. And she's just like, I'm not making a deal, and like puts her hand on his face.
You're like coming out from under anesthesia, woozy.
And I'm like, leave me alone, devil. She's like, jeez. But yeah, she just says like, I'm not. Go away.
You could kind of hear Hadawa's got this really mirthful chuckle. He's laughing. He says, No deals. Full price, my dear.
That's great.
So, a couple of other things happen.
So, hang on, just one rules thing.
Yeah.
So the non-lethal damage that you've taken now is like equal to your HP?
Equal to my HP?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, it would be. Go ahead and keep going, so we can figure out.
So I have 9 total. I took 14 damage, so that meant that I was
healed for 5.
Yeah, so that meant that I'm at 0, 1, however.
Yeah. So, okay. So then, according to the rules, any further non-lethal damage you take is still treated as lethal damage.
Okay, so we might have needed to stabilize.
No.
But
like I think it's once an instance of non-lethal damage takes you to.
Any further damage? Right. Got it. Okay.
Any other times you would get hit. Yeah.
Okay. So
is Hedmon holding a weapon?
Hedmon is not holding a weapon. Not that you can see.
Cool.
Okay, so the guard, or the militia member in front of Kamina is going to take an attack. And seems to feeling a little bit more confident, having regained his footing. Definitely still wincing from the blow that you struck to his back. Takes another swing at you. It's a 13 hit.
No.
Okay. A bit of frustration as the swing goes wide. And he sees kind of clutching his side a bit. But he's determined, it seems, to get you. Above... Oh. Trying to take my mic out. Above, you can see that the guard with the crossbow is taking a swing at... not taking a swing at anything. The guard with the crossbow is reloading and seems to be taking aim on Gorham and his companions. It's hard to see who he's shooting for yet, but he's reloading this round. Meanwhile, you can see that Nox is the guard above, who is like the captain, who has pulled the Hellhound out. Nox is staying basically right where she's at, but she's kind of giving orders to the Hellhound, who's taking a step forward. and basically unleashing this gout of flame towards the fountain and the crowd here. And
Whoa.
you can see that a number of people who had been fighting have now been just engulfed in flames. Their clothes catching. You can hear their screams as the kind of flesh begins to smolder, and a few people drop from the attack. At this point, the crowd is definitely breaking. The fight that they had in them seems to be going up in flames.
At least we made a hole for some of them to get out.
True. Now, we are back to the top of the order. So, Kamina, you still have this pesky Chelish militia member who seems to keep trying to bear down on you despite his wound.
Yeah, I'm just gonna attack again. Try and take care of this guy.
Okay.
So a 6.
Yeah. So the two of you seem to be trading some misses here as you're ducking and dodging and weaving out of each other's attacks. It's a matter of time before someone connects. We'll have to see who makes that last blow.
I do have a quick question. Do
Yeah,
I know Hedemon? Is that how you say his name? Would I know him?
Everyone knows Hedemon. So I mean,
I don't.
You may, well.
I mean, I've met him, but
You do now.
You do now. If you've lived in Kintargo for any amount of time, he is a rather gregarious, very involved, kind of outskirts of high society with just his clientele. You would know of him, especially due to your time in the academy and just being a fellow merchant, without a doubt. The nobility know of him for obvious reasons. Really, you'd have to be a pretty disconnected wage worker or someone from out of town to not at least know the name or the Devil's Threads and Hedemon Hayes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Did you want to take any more movement? Did you have any other actions?
I think I'm just gonna stay put for now.
Okay.
right.
So Ness, despite it being subtle, you don't have to roll to see Hedemon giving this gesture to either come help or come follow. That part's not clear.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely a come hither.
I do feel inclined to trust someone from Milani. And it does seem like people need my help over there. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna. I'm still allowed to cast spells while raging, right?
No.
Okay.
Well, nothing that requires patience or concentration.
Okay.
So if it's an instantaneous effect, I believe yes, but if it's like a buff spell or something that requires you to concentrate, no.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. So I'm gonna walk up here, wiping the blood from my talons and teeth as I do so. And then I'm going to spontaneously cast Cure Light Wounds on Darlin. That's the name.
popular.
Right? Now, you can see when you've drawn up and had him on, he'll turn and he'll, the subtlety from before, it's not that he's completely dropped it, but he's also not, mincing any of the words either. Where he basically says, thank you, friend. There are a few here who will need our help. But it's time we all flee as quick as possible. I have a place that you can shelter.
Much thanks. Alright. That's 6 hit points healed for
Alright.
so you're back on your feet. Or, hale and healthy again, at least.
So you are, you are in fact back to being able to take full action. You have a few hit points to spare now. You definitely the echoing and throbbing pain of the blow to your head has dulled enough that you could probably take a series of actions again. But you are in a little bit of a tough spot, given that you are within a range where if you were to try to stand up here, you could end up on the other end of an attack of opportunity. There are a few things you can do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Just checking before I say things. Number one, are you like placing a claw on me when you
Yes.
this spell?
Gently.
All right, I'll put my hand over yours and like try to like pull off some of the blood on your hands and like rub it on my hands. And with that, I would like to reach out. It's not a touch-based spell, but for RP's sake, I want to reach out to the guard and take the blood of his fellow allies and like hold his face and cast Unwitting Ally, which is a cantrip that should befuddle my target's mind, who will consider me an ally and doesn't take hostile action.
Well, so I'm pretty sure you're still prone, right? For being knocked unconscious?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that just stop me from casting?
I think you have to stand up first, but I'm not entirely sure.
I believe so.
So there are things that you can take actions prone, but it does put you in a vulnerable spot. Now, I mean, there are a number of things that you can do to get out of that. One of those is, what was basically at one point like tumble, where you can perform a check to try to like either buck up or to also perform a check to try to avoid any attack of opportunity with your movement.
Okay, yeah, you can cast spells.
Prone.
Yeah. So if you stand up, it takes your move action and it provokes an attack of opportunity. Yeah, you can make an acrobatics check to get up without provoking that attack of opportunity. I'm pretty sure. And then you have a -4 penalty on melee attack rolls. So if the spell you're gonna cast takes a melee touch attack, to work,
it does not.
Okay.
So you'd be able to cast it. I'm still inclined to let you do it for RP reasons.
Sake.
If you wanted to like reach out, it might be hard to get to his face.
So if I cast this while I'm prone and he fails, would that allow me to stand up and move?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you share the actual effects of the spell? It should, if it's what I'm thinking.
If it makes him your ally, then I think it would.
Spells. Unwitting ally.
Takes no other hostile actions.
Yeah,
against your
you'd be
enemies,
fine.
So yeah. But casting spells while in a threatened area provokes an attack of opportunity. Unless you make a, I think, concentration check to cast defensively.
Yeah.
So keep that in
Let's
mind.
just
when
make
you're
this
deciding
hard.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
a
what do you
bit
need
of a
from me?
tricky spot. Nothing from you. The DM has to decide if this Dotari is making the attack of opportunity or not.
I want to check something for myself. And I think it'll actually tell us whether we need to worry about any of this.
And also, yeah, make the will save.
Well, he has good awareness. So he has seen you come back to consciousness. He is seeing you preparing to do something. Go ahead. All right.
You
so
need like an acrobatics check from me? What do you need?
I guess it's a question of how you want to do this. If you want to physically get far enough away from him that it doesn't matter, he won't be able to take the attack of opportunity, then it would be an acrobatics check, basically. Or a dexterity check if you're not trained in acrobatics at all.
I am trained in acrobatics. It's one of my best skills.
Neat. Yeah, that
maybe the way to go then, because the other thing would be a concentration check to try to cast defensively. And I don't know if you're trained in that.
It's a what check? What's that one? Just for future knowledge.
It's a concentration check. So.
Oh, right. Concentration is not a thing in.
Oh god,
Pathfinder
that's
1.
right.
I keep forgetting.
I do too. I'm so used to. Okay, so I get to cast defensively in this case would probably be. Do they do it with CMB? I've totally forgotten. It's been so long since I've had to do this.
Special roll to cast defensively. You have to roll a concentration check. I think the DC is 15 plus the spell level.
Yeah, but concentration isn't. Hang on.
Concentration's a thing. It just works very differently from concentration in like 5e or Pathfinder 2.
Yeah, let me.
So rolling acrobatics would mean that I move out of their range, or that I just.
Yeah, to cast a spell defensively, the DC on the concentration check is 15 plus double the spell level. And if you fail the check, you fail to cast the spell.
So it's 15. Because it's your level spell and double 0 is still 0.
It's you roll d20 and add caster level and the ability score modifier for your spells. So charisma.
Yeah, it would be your level plus your charisma modifier.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was a skill in 3.5, which I started with, so that's what threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, and then when you said it, my brain just went, yeah, of course.
Yes. So right about the mechanics, but not about the how exactly it works.
All right.
So in this case, you would roll a d20 and add 1 plus your charisma modifier if you wanted to cast defensively.
Yeah, that's.
Want to get out of the way.
Keep going. That's fine.
If you want to get out of the way, it's an acrobatics check, and DM sets the DC. But I guess you're just trying to roll out of the way while still prone.
Basically, think about it this way. A general rule of thumb when it comes to trying to avoid attacks of opportunities with an acrobatics or athletics check is if you are moving like more than 5 feet, if there's more than one chance for an attack opportunity, it does go up. If there are more people that you're trying to get away from, like several people that could take an attack opportunity, it'll go up. But the baseline number is 15.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, you'd have to beat a 15 to avoid the attack.
Make or beat, right? Because it's a DC.
Yeah, meet or beat.
Yeah.
Okay, I think because it's more interesting RP wise, I'm still gonna try and cast a spell. So I'm gonna try and to cast defensively.
Okay.
So my
Cool.
charisma bonus is a +4, so I have a +5.
Okay.
Nice.
Wish me luck. So that's 11 plus 5.
That's
16.
enough.
What's the
That's enough.
DC for casting defensively?
15 plus double the spell level.
Which is
And in this
0.
case, it's 0. So
Oh, it's a cantrip?
16 is enough.
It's a
yeah.
cantrip.
Nice. Yeah, you get that.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Nice
is
job.
exciting. Okay.
Okay. So my intention for casting it, I guess I don't get to stand up for this, but what I was imagining was that I would kind of like pull the blood off of Nessa's hands and like rub it on mine, and like, intention was to kind of like put it on his face and be like, why would you attack the brother of your friend? Like, as if like I am the blood that he's perceiving. That was kind of the flavor I was going for.
There's a way I think to do this. If you start the spell and the effect kind of takes in by basically just casting the spell, you could still follow through as like you're pulling yourself back up with your movement by tracing the blood up along him and ending it up by putting it on his face.
Okay, so then that's a will save. And I think my DC was 14. Oh, it's different for different spells. Okay. Go, because it's based on the spell level. Okay.
DC 14.
I'm learning.
So.
Okay, and then this.
Oh, 15.
Not what you want.
Hey man, blood magic doesn't always work.
True.
I just get like palm to the chest, slammed back down on the ground. Like...
No, this is I can't imagine him doing anything other than like he's aware of you down there doing something, but he's got like 3 people attacking him right now. And so he's kind of like, you know, like kind of out of the corner of his eye, he's seeing you like start to move and reach out and like he's, you know, he's making a quick judgment call of like, well, I mean, okay, what is she really gonna do? Like, he doesn't even have her weapon. I gotta keep my eyes on these people. As you cast the spell, it doesn't quite work the way you're hoping. But as you're standing up and just basically like tracing the blood up, like leg up the side on the chest towards his face, he's like, he backs away as you start to reach towards his face, and like basically, he's taking the 5-foot step in a way where he's like, what the? What is wrong with you? So I basically have him back. I guess the only way he can do this is this way. Well, he can't really take this yet. He's going. I can't really do this yet because Gorham still has a chance to go here. So, but he's in the process. He's beginning to take a step backward away from you.
No. He can walk away. He says, wanting an attack of opportunity.
Speaking of Gorham, it is your turn.
All right. We're gonna see if a third time is in fact a charm.
This sounds good.
A hiya.
A high no.
Oh baby. I have
You should
rolled
roll in real life.
a 2, a 3, and a 4 so far.
Do you have real dice handy?
Maybe.
I feel like they'd be more loyal to you.
Probably. They're nice little dice.
These digital dice don't seem to like you.
The thing is, it's not even just tonight. Like, our Tuesday sessions, it's a long standing thing, sadly, and I'm at a point where I'm like, I hopefully we
roll
can find a
better.
way to... Right. It's just not any fun.
You gotta win sometime.
Exactly. Since we've kind of
Got
already...
my sand pouch.
Oh, nice.
Of relatively decent metal days.
Nice.
You want me to
Turkey?
roll one? Oh my god, a nat 20? This is bullshit.
No, she didn't roll d20. She just rolled 20.
Oh, okay.
So
That's fair.
not, yeah.
Do that before.
No, you haven't.
Okay, good.
I just checked. You're fine.
You feel better? I rolled a 14 this time on the real die.
See, there you go.
Okay. Do me a favor. Just
Yes,
take
ma'am.
14 for this round.
Deal. That will
Deal.
make an 18 to hit.
And 18 hits on these guys.
Cool. Do you want me to actually roll damage, or do you want to just take the 7 that's currently on the screen?
Oh, you pick.
I'm a gambler. I'm a gambly boy. Where'd my
Gambly
D10 go?
boy.
No gamble, no
Oh.
future.
It hit on the ground. I rolled 5 damage instead of 7, but you know what? No gamble, no future.
Yeah, that's true. Could have been a 12.
An attempt was
Okay.
made.
An attempt was made. So that's 5 damage before you add anything to it?
Oh no, I rolled a 2. I added my 3 already.
On a d12?
On a D10.
D10, okay.
I'm small.
Hey, you know what? 5 damage is 5 damage, and
That's 5 more damage than I did the last 2 rounds.
it's true.
It is true.
So you can see that this guard has basically oh, I gotta make one more roll here too while I'm thinking about it. Okay, yeah. So this Statari has taken an attack from you and both of your
Nat 20 from
Followers.
Chewie.
Yeah, that one was a pretty savage blow earlier. This time, your other attendant happens to connect, and I'm just gonna assume that maybe this one has a dagger.
We name him. Can I?
Yeah.
name him?
We should come up with a name eventually because they might be
I
around
like
longer than
Julian.
I thought. So, okay. At this point,
It's-
you've got Julian. Yes, perfect.
Yeah,
Julian has...
Is he a
won't
disgraced
remember
king
that.
with black and white stripes on his fur? Is that
Yeah.
no? Nobody has ever seen Madagascar.
Not enough to recognize that name.
It's King Julian. It's the ring-tailed lemur.
Sure.
I didn't know the ringtail lemurs had names.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Just
nice. We didn't deeply appreciate the movie as it deserved. Because I listened to multiple songs from that movie.
I don't know how much it deserved.
It deserves
I
it.
just know how
What
much
can I say
remembered.
except you're welcome?
It's... Well, oh, that one deserves it.
Yes.
And that's been stuck in my head all day, thank you. Okay, so here's what's happened.
You're welcome.
This guard has taken attacks from multiple sides, and he's unfortunately not been able to fend off 2 of them. And adding into the damage he's taken from Chili last round, he basically gets this hammer upside the head as he's starting to back away. having this blood smeared all over him. He's freaked out a bit. He's distracted. Catches a hammer on his face, and it kind of sends him reeling and arms sprawling as Julian comes up and buries a dagger and basically into his armpit, and the Tari, basically stumbles a few more steps and then drops,
Oh.
bleeding out on the ground.
Joe Julian.
Right? So he just needed a name, and now he's doing well.
Yeah, but
Ooh.
now he's also gonna die because you gave him a name.
Yeah,
True.
I mean, it had to happen. Sorry.
Also, fun fact: Chile is the only one of the House Alexa servants that doesn't wear a red shirt.
Of course.
I think it's me who's having some trouble with the sound.
Well,
Did
you all
everybody-
are having some trouble with your video on my end, at least. So
Yeah, I think we're. Yeah, you're having connection problems. Hang on. Can I?
Well, you did it anyways.
Okay, she turned. All right, I guess we're shuffling the video on the stream. So, bear with us.
wait,
Yeah.
there are bears on stream.
I wish.
I'm kind of a bear. Without the whole dating men thing.
Yeah, that's what makes the bear the bear. If you're straight, it's just dad bod.
True. Dad bod is straight for bear.
Not as fun sounding.
No, it's not.
No. All right, we're waiting for our illustrious dungeon master to return.
How do you spell your friend's name, Chile?
So have you been to the world famous corporate restaurant that is known for their baby back ribs and margaritas? I believe it is pronounced Chili's. Like that.
Say Ruby Tuesdays. Yeah, got it.
Chili.
I don't know if it was like a CHEE using
No.
Chile. Chili's.
Oh
Chili.
my god. Hi, welcome back.
Hi. All I wanted to do was turn my mouse back on, and that was a very, very poor decision on my part, because apparently reconnecting my wireless mouse was enough to just throw everything out of whack. So, let's see here. Turn video back on. I should be back here in a second. Hi! Sorry about that.
Hi.
We'll get this worked out. Okay, so the Tari has fallen, is bleeding out. There are still a few other guards. Now that the crowd has broken, they're starting to close in towards your direction. You can also see at this point there are guards coming in from other directions that were posted farther away before the riot started. But they are also now making their way towards the main square here. So just to give you some idea, you can see you have guards closing in. This last militia member, hard to tell whether they're moving in or making a break for it, but they're not there. The militia, or the guard with the crossbow, is still drawing a bead onto, it looks to be at this point, Julian and Gorham and we've named your other attendant Julian.
Well, I know you did that. I'm still just going to respond with that every single time.
Oh, with who? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So kind of aimed in your direction is going to take another shot. Where this is going.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, and just misses right over your head again.
What's it?
Whiffs it. But the other thing you can see is that, with the crowd really thinning out, either people are being arrested or they've fallen and are injured in the street, or most people were able to eventually break free of the crowd and run. There's only a few people stragglers here who are trying to put up a fight, including yourselves. And you can see that Nox is basically taking the chains of the Hellhound, and she's turning it to face the bunched up crowd of you here. And she seems to be giving it some commands in Infernal, which if anyone speaks, if anybody here speaks Infernal, you would know she's basically issuing commands
So wait, is that all three of you who speak Infernal?
Probably.
My God, I barely speak Common.
It seemed like the second most important language to pick up.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. So
Gorm speaks Common, Infernal, and Elven.
Everybody here, but Ness, would know that Nox is ordering the Hellhound to use its Hellfire Breath upon you.
It's not what you want.
And the good news is it's going to basically take it around to get in position to do that.
Well, I may not know what she said, but I know that the scary guard is talking to the scary dog on fire in a scary language.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm gonna say something discretion valor. Hold up a claw. Just run.
You can see that Julian basically, in a desperate, in a kind of a desperate bid, pulls up a hand crossbow from his side and takes. Oh, actually, no. You know what? You can do this with the dagger. That'll be more fun. He's like, oh. This is more fun. I think he's in range. Yeah, this will work because he's right up above you. Okay, so he takes out. He basically takes his dagger that he was attacking with, so he doesn't actually have to do any of the rest of the stuff, and he hurls it towards Nox's direction. As he's yelling, "Run, my lord! I'll hold them!" And the dagger catches Nox right in the throat.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you can see her kind of stagger as this great, just spout of blood rushes out. And she kind of goes to her knees for a second before she yanks the dagger out and stands back up, and you can see the wound just closes right up.
Don't like that.
She just tosses the dagger away.
Yep, time to go.
Time to go.
Okay, so
This is the point where Gorham's story on the founding of Kintargo starts to falter a little bit.
It sounds fair. So we are back at we are kind of back at the top of initiative here. But you can definitely see that I should mention that Hedemon. Oh, you know what? Lily. That's the way out of here. He's seeing who's left and what's around the two, so he's gonna try to do something. he summons. He he basically how's that gonna work? He's trying to do this subtly, so I'm gonna give him a chance to. Alright, so here's that check. Alright, well, let's see. Only one. Alright, so, he's trying to very subtly cast a spell. But those of you right next to him can probably notice this, though.
On the ground watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you were able to stand up, right? Because the Datari decided not to attack you.
Because he decided not to attack and instead was like, what the heck?
Oh, good. I freaked them out properly. All right, cool.
You did. Yeah, you were
Rubbing
standing.
blood on people's face will do that.
Oh my god. I love this so much. What is favorite weapon? Okay. So you see this this rose, like pink, red tinted, but kind of glowing morning star. Just the streak of light kind of turns into this morning star as it swings and tries to smack at the back of the Chelish thug who is still fighting Kamina. Okay, and that is touch. Okay. Okay. It connects with the back of his head, and he's getting ready to swim with his own mace, and you can kind of see, like, just his face, his eyes glaze over as he just thuds forward at your feet. And at this point, you can see that Hedemon is starting to make a run for it himself. And he's basically, as he starts the run, those around him, he says, quickly, there's an alleyway not far from here. We can meet there and regroup. I have a place that we can hide.
Okay.
Seems reasonable.
Okay. So let me, in the interest, take that out. Kamina, we're back to you. We're still technically an initiative. You all have an opportunity to do whatever you'd like. Yeah, you can see that there are a number of more of the Datari that have been moving in on the other side. And it may not show quite up on this map, so I might have to, for you all, because I'm going to bring them in a little closer, but you still have a little bit of distance. They're going to take a second to get to you.
Okay. Is there someone injured near me? I think there was somebody being attacked by this guy when I came in and...
There is, basically right above you, there is a person who, they're on the verge of being unconscious. They're definitely, concussion. You can see they're not being able to focus on anything with their eyes. They're bleeding pretty heavily from a head wound.
I think as my action, I would like to try and provide first aid, use a heal skill check, I guess. Or-
Okay. So it's sort of this combat medicine is the thing that you could do, but it is tricky to really full on stabilize somebody in a round.
Okay.
But there are some things you could do if you wanted to rule a heal check. I can. We can try to see if it actually ends up helping them at all.
Okay. Probably not.
So yeah, you're stumbling to try and get you know, something together out of what you've carried with you here to the park, that you'd be able to kind of put some type of dressing together, or find a way to staunch the blood. But it's really hard to do just in a few seconds, and with all the commotion going on around you and the various threats closing in.
Yeah, I think we should probably be like fumbling to grab things, and it's like shaky, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I can't help, and is going to run after Hedemon.
Okay. Ness. Discretion still?
Yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna say follow, and then sprint after Hedemon. And my run speed would take me off of the map, so I don't know what I want to do there.
No, I mean that's easy enough. So since we're basically gonna be out of initiative too.
Oh, that works.
Yeah. Okay. So we're back to Darlin, having regained your footing, so to speak, having stood up last round. You can see that those around you are starting to run for it as reinforcements have arrived, and this hellhound is getting ready to immolate the whole area around you.
I believe the technical term is burninate the non-believers.
Yes, it is indeed the technical term.
I don't know. It's burninate the peasants.
Want to do something, but I know that if I do, I will not be able to get far enough away to keep myself safe, so I am going to run.
I am not going to railroad anybody. There's all kinds of things you are welcome to do here. I'm just trying to spell out what's on the page.
Yes, this is me just expressing Daphne's, like, internal thoughts of, like, she's going through, like, different ways that she could potentially, like, stall the hellhound and Nox in front of her. She's thinking about reaching out to her brother, but she's realizing that I have already been knocked hard to the ground, and I am only awake because of the people who are telling me to run. So I am going to follow after and spend my full round running.
Okay. So we can take you off as well. Gorham, you can see that quite a few of the others are taking the chance, this opening to flee.
Yeah, Gorham will look around. Stop. Go ahead.
I was just saying, you can also see that, Julian has tossed off his dagger at Nox, and it made that very solid hit to the throat. But
your other servant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, your other servant.
Got it. So Gorham will look around and see that an opening has been created and the others are running away, and he'll look at Chile. He'll stop telling his tale about the founding of Kintargo, and he'll look at Chile and go, "It may be time to express that caution you were talking about earlier, and start running after the other group at quite literally half the speed of everybody else. Because again, Gorham's movement in around is 15 feet, so his run speed is 60 feet.
My movement around is only 20, so
Well, all right.
it's not far away.
Okay.
But even at my paltry 15 feet, by doing a full run, I actually do get off the map. So
Yes. Okay. And Chile's coming with you. Julian, however, is shouting out, "I'll cover your retreat, sir," and pulls another dagger and starts to charge towards Nox and the Hellhound. And at this point, you
we'll
can see
never
that
remember you.
And the Hellhound just pounces on him, just knocks him right to the ground, and begins to just savage at him with tooth and claw. But it does also
That's
get
why
the
he's
attention
wearing a
of
red
those.
shirt, so the hound can't tell that he's scared or wounded.
Red shirt. Red shirt is a good description.
Kitty.
So the guards with the Tari with crossbows are also taking shots towards him to try to protect Nox, and so they actually are not shooting at you all as you retreat. And at this point, if everyone wanted to continue to withdraw, we will be out of combat, as they have retaken the square.
Away is where we will run.
Did not mean to move you, sorry. Okay.
So far away.
So far away.
How far is it?
It's pretty far. It's not on the other side of the river, but it's far.
Okay. So, yeah, to give you a little bit of an update as to kind of what you're seeing, you're not alone in running away from the square. A large number of people are still trying to run and recover, catch their breath. They're holed up in doorways and trying to get into buildings, and they are doing their best to either keep running or hiding, to bind their wounds, as many of them have gashes and already deep bruising from mace strikes, and even some burns from the Hellhound. But having managed to get out of, having escaped from being captured, imprisoned, or murdered, you're all going to be able to keep moving away from the square. None of you are so injured or hindered that you won't be able to continue moving. And for those of you keeping an eye, Hedemon is trying to move quickly to an alleyway nearby, and disappear into its shadows.
Yeah. Worth following.
Okay. So he'll wait till you kind of all have gathered, and he seems to be catching his breath. And he says, "I wish I could say well met all of you, but this was not on my agenda for today. Thank you for doing what you could there. I wish we could have managed to free and save more of them, but we were outnumbered from the get-go.
Our time will come.
He'll kind of turn towards he'll kind of turn towards Darlin and basically kind of give you this look up and down to try to get a good look at the wound on your head and then see how you've recovered and he'll say, Lady Serini, I trust you're holding up. Do you need more healing?
Can't exactly return home right now looking like this, but I'm standing.
Well, hopefully we can get you all back to your homes, but I think it would be wise to lay low for the remainder of the day. Just see who all they recognized and who they might be after. They're not going to be kind to anyone they are able to identify was at this protest and got away. I don't think any amount of nobility is going, or even the houses that, and kind of turns back towards Daphne and says, even houses who are in good standing with the throne. There's a place not far from here. It's used to be a livery. It's known as Fair Fortune. It's become a little run down given recent events, but it should serve our purposes for laying low.
Want us to go to stables?
I mean, if you think about it, my dear, where's the last place they would ever think to look for you?
I guess napping in a pile of old horse poop.
Liver is tasty. I go with you.
Okay, that'll work.
You sleep in horse poop once, you sleep in horse poop twice, whatever.
Horse stable does sound better than a jail cell at this point, so
Anything's better than mining salt.
Well, if you're all committed to coming with, suppose it's only fair. I know a few of you, at least more than by name, but I am Hedemon Hayes. I'm the proprietor of the Devil's Threads. So if you haven't heard the name, you may know the place. And if we all come through this, more or less intact, I'll be happy to mend whatever damages have occurred to your clothes. And he's kind of looking around at some of the people and what they're wearing. You know, never mind. I'll find you all something nice to wear.
Yes, just put it on Mommy Dearest tab. Gorm says, gesturing at Darlin.
But I have not had the good fortune to meet all of you. If you don't mind, how may I call you? And what brought you out here to this protest on this fateful day?
Ness extends a hand to shake. Says, Ness. And she looks around.
And Hedemon will clasp the claw with both hands and kind of give it a very firm, considerate shake.
And she looks around and, after a moment of hesitation, says in a slightly softer voice, "I was sent by Milani."
He seems to look around hesitantly for a second, and his eyes, if they linger anywhere, it seems to be at Darlin, just for the brief of seconds, as he kind of licks his lip a little bit and turns back to Ness and smiles and says, "And you have found the rose, my dear."
Yes.
Or at least what's left of it. I'm afraid I've lost contact and, frankly, hope that others within our cell here have survived the night of fire. I barely made. I barely missed being caught up in our meeting that night. I was held up at the shop. For better or worse. If anyone would like to give sense motive checks here, outside Ness, you know exactly what is basically transpiring here. You know that you've somehow stumbled into your contact that you, and you're beginning to get some answers about why you were sent here.
Gorb is 100% certain everything is on the up and up.
Yeah.
My gosh, we all rolled off.
It's because I don't have roll that insurance yet. I get that
I
at
have
level
a
2 for sense motive.
+5. Jeez Louise.
Oh, this is fantastic. So yeah,
Whatever, I know how to.
Sub into my performance check for sense motive until level 2.
Hadamon is notorious for being friendly to all, unless they really have it coming, and this seems to be more of that. He will say to you, we shouldn't linger here too long. It might be best if we split up in pairs and made our way to the stables. Keep to the alleys, the shadows, off the main routes, especially if you're in. Try to cover it. I know you may be inclined to help others, but the way you'll help them the most is to stay alive and get there. Need to regroup. Perhaps we can make more proper introductions there. And as he's saying this, you can kind of hear some shouting coming down from the alley. You can basically hear like what seems to be cries for help. And Hadamon basically takes a deep breath and goes, "We can't save them all. I'll see you there." And kind of gives a look to everybody and dips out of the alleyway. Meanwhile, the shouts for help keep getting stronger. It sounds as though somebody from just around the corner in the alleyway is terrified for their life.
Darlin will go up to Ness and be like, "With me, I know the way.
Ness will nod and follow Darlin.
And she will promptly ignore the cries for help and start heading to the livery.
Ness sort of gives a look back as the cries get louder, but then resigns herself to getting somewhere safe and getting ready to help people in a more impactful way.
Okay.
Jerome, on the other hand, will pull his hammer off his back, start walking towards the cries for help, and look at Geely and say, "Have I ever told you about the time when the first wars over the freedom of Kintargo against the Chillin and House Thrune were conducted?" And start recounting a raging song as he walks down the alleyway towards them to get help. Just assuming Geely's gonna follow him.
My lord, no. we need to get somewhere safe.
So do they.
It's true.
I think I
You're
will
the one
follow
who's always
right
telling
behind.
me that you can't just look at the big picture and you gotta help the little guy from time to time.
But you are the little guy.
Metaphorically speaking.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Would this be a good place to wrap up?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to.
I'm a sleepy baby.
I don't blame you. I wanted to end a little bit ago. Okay. Well, so we are ending with our party seemingly splitting. That always. That
I grabbed the
always
big
hits.
one who can fight and save me.
I followed the one that couldn't hit anything, relatively speaking, in the last fight. Neither could I, so
Save you.
yeah, we're a good pair to go help somebody.
Yeah. You, me, and my man
Fantastic.
boy, Feely.
Uh-huh.
Did Julian
Okay.
die?
Who?
Yes.
Your other servant.
Unfortunately.
Oh,
And I hope
yeah,
my
yeah.
messages to you will be funnier, Autumn.
Oh no, this is gonna be great. Okay, we don't know that Julian died, but it really looked bad when you ran.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
kind of ran directly at the Hellhound with nothing but a dagger. And
You lost that
I let him.
dagger.
So that's the story of
Oh, I love it.
the
Okay.
other manservant.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So this has been really fun. I'm sorry that our combat dominated this session, but I think we're going to be in a place starting next week where we're going to have a lot of chances to meet our characters in a more role-play out, some challenging scenarios, figure out what's going to come next. Now that the first steps towards rebellion have been taken.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you next Friday. Be planning to run at the same time.
Hopefully a little
See you
bit
then.
earlier. But yeah.
Hopefully a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Good night.
Thanks so much. Good night.